Hello everybody and welcome to the third generation of Pokemon through the years. In the last episode we finished Gen 2 and in this episode I already made a save file. Hopefully I did. I did, yeah. With all of the Pokemon we had in the box. I also added all the dead Pokemon from Gen 1 and Gen 2 in the death box for this generation, just so that we can look back at them and see what Pokemon we've had and what Pokemon we have not had yet. And one very important thing is, I'll just start playing the game as we discuss this, is all the Pokemon don't have their proper moves for level 5, because it's very tedious for me to go in and edit all the moves individually. Pokéhex apparently doesn't have a functionality where it just applies the moves based on the level you selected for the Pokemon, which makes sense because you'd need an entire database for like everything to be linked into that, and then like have programming to see, okay, you're at this level, so then look back at what are the last 4 moves you learned. I get that that could be potentially fairly complicated, so they didn't do that. But I didn't feel like doing that for you. You'll see how many Pokemon we have. We have like a box and a half, and that is a box and a half of Gen 3 Pokemon. It was almost 2 full boxes of Gen 2 Pokemon. So that's like 45 Pokemon. I was like, yeah, not doing that. So what I'll do is, for the first couple of like episodes when I get a new Pokemon, I'll just Pokéhex in the moveset when and if I decide to use a Pokemon. And once we get later into the series, like when my team is level 30, level 40, level 50, right? Those base moves aren't going to matter either way because I'm not going to stick with them. So why would I even like bother putting moves on Pokemon that I won't use the Pokemon, or I won't use the moves because I'll only use the Pokemon when they get to a level where they don't have those moves anymore anyway. So everybody does have a randomized nature. I just like open the menu every single time and click something random. Everybody has new randomized IVs. That is because you cannot transfer Pokemon from Gen 2 to Gen 3, even with Pokéhex. It's just like the data, it's saved a different way. It's entirely different. Good news being, from now on, the Pokemon we have should be compatible with every single generation, even in Pokéhex. So this is going to be a starter. One of which is a Torchic. Seriously, one of which is a Torchic. We have to. We have to, don't we? Let's go with the Torchic. We're getting a Blaziken, apparently. Our starter is actually a starter, but this is not randomized. That's interesting. Another thing to mention is that this is not only just a randomized ROM, but it's been slightly, let's say, improved for this series. And that means that there should be a couple of fun surprises for me in here, but mostly the rival fights, the team admin fights, the gym leader fights and the Elite Four fights all have been made significantly more difficult. Because I like this shop, but it also makes me feel uneasy because the player character isn't in the middle of the screen, and this might be like the only time in this entire game up until this point, like, or at all, where that is the case, where the screen doesn't censor around your main player character until like Gen 5 or 6, I think. The camera does not move in Pokemon ever, and the fact that it does here, it just makes me feel a little bit uneasy. Let's call you Roger. You're Roger the Torchic. Why Roger? I have no clue. But from here on out, you're Roger. Okay. One like other little PSA thing. Last 2 episodes, the game audio was like slightly desynced for like half a second desync. That should be fixed in this episode. I'm potentially only recording 1 episode today, and I'll edit and export it right away so I can check. Maybe if it has not been fixed, I think it should be fixed, but if it has not been fixed, and I do decide to record more than 1 episode, maybe next episode we'll have that as well. But now that I know, I can also just like slide around the audio sync to make it match, even though it's a little bit tricky to do. I think that's all the announcements we have to do, so let's get started with Gen 3. Our first encounter is not going to be a slug map. It might be, but we don't have Pokeballs yet, so the Nuzlocke has not yet started. And I don't know if the first rival fight against May, which we'll get to that in a moment, is going to be edited as well to be extremely difficult. If we die against the first fight against May before we get to Pokeballs, obviously that does not count because we do not yet have the Pokeballs. But I am going to literally kill everything I run into just in case I need to get that one level up. That could make the difference, okay? I don't know if there's been like any messing with the levels itself. I don't think there has been. I think the levels of all the fights are still the same. I might be mistaken in that. Maybe the levels are upped a little bit. I do think that all the IVs are maxed out for the enemy Pokemon in the important fights, which are the ones I mentioned just before. And I think the Elite Four specifically, and nothing else, question mark, I'm not entirely sure, has competitive movesets as well. So I'm assuming that also means they have like held items that fit those movesets. I don't exactly know what has been edited in what way, and that unpredictability is, I think, very important to make this as fun as it can be. Because we've kind of been like steamrolling the first two generations, so having something that potentially can like damage me a little bit more in this generation is a good idea. I think that's a good idea. So let's take a quick look at the PC box just to show you how fucking ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous my box looks like. So let's speed through that a little bit. The speed button doesn't go to like 10,000% anymore, which is nice. So these are all the dead Pokemon. We haven't had many deaths. These are all the dead Pokemon we've collected over 2 entire generations. These are all the deaths, right? Let's call it dead. Because I hadn't done that yet, because you can't do that in Pokédex for some godforsaken reason. Let's see if there's a fun wallpaper. Cemetery, do we have a cemetery? We can always use cave. Does not seem like we have a cemetery. We can bury you in like the desert. Let's go for desert. So, yeah, these are all the Pokemon we have. I told you it was a lot. This is 30. That's 36, 42. That's 43. Also, this is the team we ended with last generation, which is Casper, Fox, Spaghetti, Tien, Deus, and Mary, all of which have been made shiny. We can't add those to the team yet, because obviously we do have the rule where we can only use our old Pokemon once we've actually caught something to fill that spot on the team. So I need to catch a second Pokemon before I can choose to get one out of the box, should I wish to. So if I get another fire type like that Slugma, I'm probably going to switch Slugma out for something in the box that is not a fire type. If we get a different encounter for our first encounter, which doesn't look like we will, I'll try to keep the Pokemon we catch here as our encounters, as our team members. Those backup Pokemon are only there for backup, and we already have a Drowsy. Those are literally only there for backup and to like balance out the team a little bit more. Priority goes to the Pokemon we actually catch in this generation. This might sound very, very familiar to you all, because I've said this exact same thing at the start of Gen 2, but I'm assuming maybe there's some new people watching at the start of Gen 3, because it's been a while. So let's go over that all again, and we just have. So, Drowsy and Poliwrath, both of which I already have. We're going to run into a lot of Dupes Claws this generation, and any generation after that. So, any Gen 1 and 2 Pokemon, there's a very good chance that we're going to run into a lot of Dupes Claws. Obviously, anything that's Gen 3 that we run into, we probably won't have any Dupes Claws, because that was very glitchy. And this is Cool Trainer Wesley. That's me. That's also the... And it's a Totodile! You motherfucker! Why did I pick Torchic? It's a Totodile! Okay, our rival has a Totodile as a starter. I should have seen that coming. I don't know why I didn't see that coming. I definitely should have seen that coming. That's great. I love that. Which means that every single time we fight our rival, we have to kill Bob. Which is a little bit sad. I don't think you can change the nicknames of NPC Pokemon, right? Otherwise it would have been great if it was actually called Bob. But yeah, that's the first battle against myself, I guess. Huh. That's a strange experience. It's overworld, you can't change the names unless you do like major ROM hacking. Or well, not major ROM hacking, but you can't do that in the save file. You can only do that in ROM hacking itself. So that is why the overworld names have not been changed, but the in-battle names definitely have been changed. And this is a real like weird like metaphysical experience for me, because we just had Vlogger versus Wesley, which is both on me, so there's like an internal struggle for like dominance of the mind. It's my split personality visualized. I don't have a split personality. Yes, I do. Do I? Yeah, no, I don't. Do I? Maybe I do. Don't think I do. Do I? Anyway, that was the first battle of this series, which was fantastic. And we are not going to have any like more major battles for a little while, I don't think. We have this battle, which luckily wasn't 6 Pokemon with full IVs, because I would have been destroyed if that were the case. But we're going to speed through this a little bit, because I just want to get started and you give me Pokeballs. And that is officially the start of the Nuzlocke portion of this game. Which means that the first encounter we're going to run into on Route 101 is going to be our encounter, and you're going to give us a running shoes, which we're never ever going to fucking use. Actually, yeah, we are, never mind. Because having the running shoes means that I don't... My god, the running shoes are fast in this game. Holy crap. I haven't been playing much Gen 3 lately, and obviously I've been playing a lot of Gen 2 lately. Okay, so Slugmate is our encounter here. That's a little bit too bad. I've been playing Gen 1 and 2, and before that I played a bit of Gen 4 and Gen 6. And Gen 4 is so slow, and you can't run in Gen 1 and 2, obviously. So actually having like the running shoe... Roger, I appreciate the effort, but please do not kill my encounters. Man, I'll never need to speed button again. Just kidding, speed button speeds that up even more. It's a Mareep, we already have one of those. And I was a shiny, so fuck off. My Mareep is better than you. Let's see what our encounter is going to. Rosie, we already have one of those. I think there's only 2 encounters on this route. So 3 encounters actually. I think we might have like maxed out this entire route already with the Pokemon we already have. So let's... One more. Yeah, so we can't catch anything here. That's going to be something that happens a little bit more in this generation, as I said before. Let's try Route 102. Let's see what you got from me. I probably should get a couple more Pokeballs, just in case. It's a Charmeleon, which I imported Charmeleon and then forgot to make it a Charmander. So that's why it says we have a Charmeleon. It is a Charmander, don't worry. I think it is. Did I save that added? I don't know that I did. But for all intents and purposes, we already have one of you. But your sprite is... very offset. Is that always the case with Kingler? That sprite should definitely be like much lower. But we already have a Krabby, so we can't get a Kingler either. Again, Dupe's Claws. We've been running into it a lot in this series. I don't think we've had a Pidgey. It would show us if we did. Right? Unless one of the dead Pokemon was a Pidgey, or a Pidgeotto, or a Pidgeot actually, because... well, if we had a Pidgey, it wouldn't show you that we have it. But I don't think we have a Pidgey. We have a Spearow. I know we have a Spearow. But I don't think we have a Pidgey. I still don't have that document, by the way. I've been talking about for like a generation and a half, making a document to know when I caught what Pokemon and where they died, if they died. for like a very big death montage. Not going to be a lot of death, admittedly. More like a remembrance of the series once it ends, which will be a while from now, but that's why I need to document. Still haven't gotten around to doing that. Probably should get around to doing that, because the longer I wait with it, the bigger of a task it's going to be, and the less likely it is that I'm actually going to do it, and you didn't even shake once. That's not good for me. That's very not good for me. Does Wally classify as a special trainer, like an important battle? Because Wally might... He might. Okay, so we're just going to... throw one more ball? We caught it. Okay. I'm very sorry for the anticlimactic nature of some of these captures, but I just can't be asked to sit around here for like 10 minutes trying to capture a Pokemon that I really don't have any control over, other than just chucking balls at its face. So we're going to call you... I'm going to call you a Rami. I don't know. I just watched Ratatouille recently, like 2 months ago, and that's the first name that came to mind. So let's go heal up and we go do our first actual trainer battles, which have not been edited other than the fact that they are indeed randomized. The other ones have been manually edited. At least I think the Pokemon themselves were randomized, other than obviously the Totodile, that was on purpose. But I think the Pokemon themselves have not been edited after the randomization, but just like the movesets and the IVs have. Again, I'm not entirely sure what has been edited in what way, but that kind of like adds to the surprise nature of like the randomizer and the extra difficulty there. I still don't know what's up with the whole like glitchy overlay when the battle starts. Ampharos, okay! You're not a steel type, so that's not a problem actually. That could be a problem actually. That could be a problem. That could definitely end up being a problem. That's not good for me. And Roger is paralyzed. Of course he is. With Growl, you're going to lower my attack stat, and I'm going to do 1 HP damage, and I'm going to be paralyzed every single... You probably don't have a electric type move yet, do you? Yeah, let's not throw a Pokeball at the Ampharos. That probably won't do much good for me. Rami is a little bit low level, but hear me out here. Maybe... I'm assuming that you do not even have Thunder Shock yet at level 5. If you do, I'm absolutely getting obliterated next to it. But this might do a decent amount of damage. I do outspeed you, which is good to... Oh, I'm stupid. Okay, so you have Tackle. Only does 4 HP damage. I also have Tackle, which does a little bit more damage than Gust did, but not a lot. And you... Oh my god, I hate the fact that you have Growl. I hate the fact that you have Growl. I'm gonna have to switch back and forth just to like negate the status drops there. Wouldn't be a big deal if I was like not very impatient. I don't think I'm in any like real danger here, other than the fact that you can paralyze me, and that's annoying. You're mostly just annoying, not dangerous. And honestly, I think annoying might be worse than dangerous. Because at least with danger, we have a little bit of drama, a little bit of action going on. Right now we're just waiting to win and gain experience, which probably going to be a decent amount of experience from a fully evolved Pokemon, even though it's just level 5. It is a fully evolved Pokemon, and if you don't paralyze yourself here, we win. As I said, we do need to get back to the Pokemon Center right away though, but that should definitely get Rami up to level 5 as well. Oh, another thing I should mention is that in the previous generation, that's 2 levels. Wow, okay, I like that. In the previous generation, the things, I'm sorry for hitting Mike, the Pokemon we got from Generation 1 to 2 in Generation 2 were classified as being from a different trainer. Purely because they were. So they got a little bit more experience and they stopped obeying me if I didn't have the proper amount of badges for that level. Seeing as how you can't transfer directly between Gen 2 and 3, all these Pokemon have been made again from the ground up. They do have my current trainer ID as their original trainer, meaning that they will not get extra experience. And I could theoretically overlevel them, but I won't, because That's like a soft limit I set for myself, obviously. So don't you worry about that. Grinding is going to be more difficult for me, I guess. That's a good thing, right? Is it? I don't know. Roger is already getting up there in the levels, though. So we're going to have a Combustion, probably like next episode. Doesn't take very long to get a Combustion. To get a Blaziken, we're going to get a little bit like... It's going to last a little bit longer as a Combustion to a Blaziken, obviously. But it's already... I mean, it's level 9 now, right? I mean, it's going to... Yeah, it's level 9. And I think it evolved at level 16, I want to say. Most starters evolve around... it's scary. That's legit scary. A Hariyama. Let's focus here for a moment. What level is your Hariyama? It's level 4. You still have a lot of HP though. Because that's just what Hariyamas do. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're a pushover. You're going to give a lot of experience though, because you're a Hariyama. You have a lot of HP. Like critical hit would have been wouldn't have been necessary here. Would have been nice to have on the first turn there. So yeah, 157 experience. We're doing well. We're doing very well here. I mean, Remy is now at the same level, I think, as Roger. Maybe. Wait a second. Roger just became level 9, didn't he? Also, Remy is a girl. I'm very sorry. I'm going to have to start paying attention to that again. I love Gen 1 with its genderless Pokemon. So yeah, we have these wild Pokemon. I'm going to stop wasting time on those because at the moment I am already like gaining levels over these trainer Pokemon because they are very powerful, but the species are very powerful. The Pokemon themselves a little bit of a pushover still, if I'm being honest. I'm going to check out what that glitch overlay is between episodes, by the way, because that is bothering me. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's got something to do with the scaling method. I have selected Invisible Boy Advance. Spoiler, I'm playing this on emulator. Oh my god, no. I'm assuming it has something to do with that. It might also be something to do with the fact that, like, no, the ROM was never edited, so it can't be that. Huh, I'm confused. But you do have a Typhlosion, so let's focus here for a moment again. I really like Typhlosion. Honestly, I know I'm not supposed to say this. I know I can't say this, but I know you're going to hate me for this, but I think the Cyndaquil line is my favorite Gen 2 starter line. I love Cyndaquil. I love all the base evolutions of Gen 2. I love Totodile, Chikorita, and Cyndaquil almost equally. Then Bayleaf is alright. Croconaw, I don't really have any like attachment to Croconaw, honestly, other than the fact that I like the whole Totodile thing, right? But I love Quilava. And then I think Typhlosion, then Feraligatr, and then I don't like Meganium. I really do not like Meganium. I don't know what I dislike about Meganium, but it's just like going from Bayleaf to Meganium, it loses so much of its like charm and like the things I liked about Bayleaf, which I am not entirely sure what those things are, that just disappear in Meganium, and it's so sad because Bayleaf is so nice. The same thing kind of happens with Typhlosion, to be honest. I very, very much more like Quilava than Typhlosion. Quilava is honestly one of the most perfect Pokemon designs I can think of off the top of my head right now. And it's also one of the rare starters which don't have a very awkward puberty middle stage evolution, whereas most of them have. I mean, just look at Combustion, which we're going to have next episode at this pace again. That's a Lunatone. That's not very good for me, because neither of my Pokemon can really deal with a Lunatone. I guess I'll just use Amber, because it's the most powerful move I have at the moment. But yeah, that's probably not going to do... that actually did a decent amount. I am 7 levels higher, so that might have something to do with it. And I'm assuming that my special attack is higher still for the time being, until I evolve into a fighting type. I don't know the base stats of like these little cat Pokemon. I have no idea. I don't even know the base stats, like numbers-wise, for most other Pokemon. I just know, oh, you have a higher this stat than this stat. For instance, I mean, Chockle, I don't know what its base defense is, but I know it's fucking massive. Same with Wailord. I don't know what its base HP stat is, but I know it's like absolutely humongous. So we can make it to Petalburg City and probably do the catching tutorial, speed through the catching tutorial, obviously, I mean. And then end of this episode, which sounds like very good pacing actually. Making it to Petalburg in the first episode. We're making good pacing here. And I do really appreciate that because I'm hyped to start Gen 3. I'll be honest, I can't wait until we get to Gen 4, even though it's been fairly recent that we played Platinum. Well, has it been? Because for all intents and purposes, we have finished 2 entire Let's Plays. Even though it's under like the banner of one series, which has like a lot of episodes by this point. I think we're coming up on episode 50. But that still is only like 2 months. Still about, yeah, it's about every other day this gets uploaded. So 50 episodes is about 2 months. So, and before we did this, I think the last series we did was the Pokemon Button Theft Log, right? Or was that even before the Axe randomizer? I don't remember the order there, but it's been only a couple of months. Oh, we did. Oh, definitely we did the start anyway of the Ice-type monologue, which was a horrible, horrible idea on my part. So let's speed through this because we all know how to catch the Pokemon. We've already done it. Honestly, I mean, I guess for story purposes, you are going to have to fight Wally a couple of times, so he does need to get this world. But there really should just be a check. Do you have more than one Pokemon in your party? If yes, skip this tutorial. Don't even need a menu saying, oh, I didn't see if Wally had a changed name. I guess we'll get that choice or the chance again later. We don't need to go to the Pokemon Center. We do need to go to the Pokemon Mart though, because we're about to face a new route, which means a new encounter. Which is the perfect opportunity to end of this episode with a second encounter. So let's buy like 10 more Pokeballs. So we also get a Premier... No, I want 10. Not 1, 10. I'm going to change his attack speed because that is really annoying me. And we might as well change the frame actually. Let's see. Attack speed, go to fast battle scene, set to on. Battle style, we're gonna keep this on shift for the time being. Again, I might change it to set if we succeed without any troubles in this generation as well. We might do set for Gen 4. Definitely want stereo sound. Button mode. Okay, frames. Yeah, we want frames. We want a nice looking frame. I dislike all of these so far. This one is not bad. It's a little bit busy. I was gonna say this one is great, but that's the default one. Okay, so let's go for the one that looked like space. I like that one. It's also very busy, but I like a little bit of like character, right? Not just the default settings, a little bit of character around. That doesn't even apply to the. Doesn't even apply to those text frames. Only to the menu, really. That sucks. That's no fun. Okay, Route 104. Let's see what our encounter is going to be for Route 104. And it's going to be a Giraffaric. I am not very happy with that. I don't... Oh my god, it does show up in battle though. That's very distracting. That is horrendous. That's actually horrible. I don't like that. I'm gonna keep it, but I don't like it one bit. Let's throw the Premier Ball. Who fucking cares? I'm probably gonna be able to catch the Giraffaric without too much trouble, because usually you use Safari Balls on these, and Safari Balls I think have the same catch rate as normal Pokeballs. I am a little bit scared to attack it again though, I'll be honest with you. Because even if I go into Pidgeotto, it's probably going to annihilate a Giraffaric. But we can just like chuck balls at your face all day long. I'm going to try to not have the speed button on during the actual like Pokeball wiggling stage. Only going through the menus to speed that up. Because having a little bit of suspense as to whether or not we're going to catch it is nice to have, right? So, what are we going to call you? Something with a split personality, definitely, because you've got like the two faces going on, one on the back. I still think it should be Psychic Dark or Normal Dark, by the way, because the back half definitely supposed to represent dark in my mind, but we're going to call you... I don't know. What are we going to call you? We're going to call you I'm just mashing random letters, hoping that I'm ending up with a name here. Let's see. Sarah. Why not? Is that even a name? I don't know. It is now. That would have been so much better to have. That would have been so much better to have. And what if that would have been nice? For God's sake. But let's take a look at Zera to end of this episode. I don't know what your type actually is. It's normal Psychic. It should be Psychic Dark. In my opinion. But maybe the back half is Psychic and the front half is normal? You could argue that, I suppose. Here I have Tackle and Growl. You might end up being somewhat useful, but for the time being, I'm kind of disappointed with that, especially after seeing that we could have caught a Celio there. But that has been the first episode of the Emerald portion of Pokemon Through the Years. Until the next time, do not forget to leave a like and say, don't say that. I stopped saying that in videos. I'm still working it out of my system. I'm very sorry. I've got like animation overlays for that now. I've been Vlogger. You've been awesome. As always. Bye.